Hi, folks. Good afternoon. I hope you have your lunch, you have your coffee, whatever it is. So, thank you for joining me for our Transformation Tuesday interview with our serial entrepreneur and coach, Moses Chybar. So, it is an absolute pleasure. Moses, you're always on the other side interviewing, but today we're going to interview you. So, welcome to our Transformation Tuesday session. All
Thank you
right.
so much.
So
Thank you,
wonderful.
Martha.
And
Thank
I
you.
am just hoping I'm hoping our internet holds because we seem to be going in and out. All right. So Moses, I've known you for a while. And I know you as Coach Moses, but I've also seen all of what you are doing in your community and what you have built as an entrepreneur. So my first question to you is, how did you become an entrepreneur? Did you work somewhere first and then you started your business, or from day one were you in a business? Tell me.
Me, and that's really a great question and one that I get asked quite often. Actually, I'm hoping you can hear me clearly because I realize the internet is not so great. But I'm going to continue to talk and hope that our listeners and yourself can hear. So,
Mm-hmm.
my journey as an entrepreneur probably started before I was an adult. When I was in high school, I was actually doing things that entrepreneurs would do. I was planting vegetables and selling, doing that in the mornings and then in the evenings after school. But then when I entered the working world, I was in the hotel industry for about a little over a decade. And one of the things I recognized back then was goods and services were hard to come by. Most of the things had to be sourced out of Kingston and to a lesser extent Montego Bay. So I had conversations with fellow purchasing agents, and we all wanted to have something closer to us that we could access more easily, readily available. And that's where it really started for us. So my wife and my brother, we started together our first store, and it was really to fill that void where persons were struggling to find goods and services. And we started off with two products, copy paper and computer
Mm-hmm.
paper. And then, as they say, the rest is history. So that's how the whole
Okay.
journey started.
So what was the name of that business? What was the name of your first business?
That, that business, Talrich, Talrich Enterprises Limited. And this was 31 years ago, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. But since then, Moses, that was your first business. But what was it like? Your first business. I know you transitioned to others, but what was it like being or becoming a new entrepreneur? What were some of the challenges that you faced?
Um, that's another good question. So the challenges were many. But I
Mm-hmm.
was young, I was full of energy and enthusiasm. I had the backing of my wife and brother. So it was scary but exciting, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to, and we really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make a difference and to serve our community.
Mm-hmm.
But Marcia started out then. We really never had much money. We never had any
Mm-hmm.
business experience. Looking back, I think we had about $20,000 altogether. This was 1992. That's what we
Yeah.
started with.
Mm-hmm.
And so capital was a challenge because it needed more money to do what we really wanted to do. So we had to
Mm-hmm.
buy the goods, sell it, make a profit, reinvest. And that's one of the things that helped us, I think. We did not spend the money that the business made. The money was reinvested in the business over and over again. So it took us much longer than it would have taken us if we had the capital to back us. And we
Mm-hmm.
had no
Mm-hmm.
history with the back time. Getting a loan was out of the question at that time. And then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the main challenge, and we really never had the experience of business. So capital was one, and so we
Mm-hmm.
made mistakes as we day by day as we progressed in the business. We
Mm-hmm.
made mistakes, but we learned from the mistakes. So lack of experience, lack of capital were the two main challenges.
Awesome. That sounds like some of the challenges that you're dealing with young business owners on. But Moses, we always say, in coaching that, we have our 6-step system that Brad Sugars in Action Coach has. And he says, if you learn how to run one business, you can run multiple businesses. So how did you transition from one? Mm-hmm.
Yes, so transitioning from one to the other. So we started out to consumers, but then as the years went by, we realized that other players were coming in the market. But
Mm-hmm.
we had the exposure where we could source goods from overseas, and we had some distributorship with some major companies. So we realized
Mm-hmm.
no, that we had to transition not just retailing, but also to wholesale and distribute. And
Mm-hmm.
we decided to start a second one that deals with distribution, and that was Icon Importers and Distributors, so as not to confuse the market. So Talrich was a storefront that sold directly to consumers, and Icon started to distribute those goods in a wholesale prices to people who wanted to buy large quantities and persons who wanted to resell. And that's pretty much how
Mm-hmm.
that second part started, a second company.
Mm-hmm.
And that continued over time.
Mm-hmm.
We recognized there were more needs. And
Mm-hmm.
so we invested in a pharmacy. I'm not a pharmacist. We have no pharmacists in the family back then, but we
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
opportunity and we invested. As I said, we were just
What was the
excited
name of
and
that pharmacy? What
enthusiastic,
was the
and we
name
were
of that?
young and we wanted.
Mm-hmm. What was the
Oh,
name of that pharmacy?
Pillbox Pharmacy,
Pillbox. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pillbox Pharmacy. And so we invested in the pharmacy too. So we
Mm-hmm.
bought shares in that. We had a partner. So that
Mm-hmm.
was our third business. And
Mm-hmm.
there were so many businesses along the way. Some we started that didn't work out. Like we started a green grocery store, did well for a while. Then the market changed. And I must tell you,
Yeah.
Marcia, one of the mistakes we made too. If you don't mind, I'll talk about a few mistakes as we go
Yeah,
along.
yes, absolutely.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so when we started that green grocery, the market started to shift. And the demand for green grocery inside a retail space like that was not as strong as it was when we started, because supermarkets started to carry a section for green grocery now. And we did not
Yeah.
change with the times. And so we
Mm-hmm.
recognized that we were hit with a lot of spoilage. And so we had to close it down. And then we went into supermarket. That led us to supermarket. So out of that challenge,
Mm-hmm.
where we lost money in the fruits and veg, we saw the opportunity to start a supermarket. And we started a supermarket, Quality Traders, that's in the grid right now.
Yeah.
And that we could not put back green groceries inside the supermarket. So we lost from one opportunity, but we regained more from another opportunity. And that became our fourth business, actually, the
Mm-hmm.
supermarket business, Quality.
But some Moses know is how many different businesses that you are involved in.
We have about 7 businesses. It's a
Mm-hmm.
family business, not just myself.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
my brother, my wife, myself, our children are in the business now too. So we operate about 7 different businesses now. So
Mm-hmm.
supermarkets, we operate 12 of them.
And
Tolerate still operates, Icon operates, hardware business operates,
mm-hmm.
and the pharmacies.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then now you have
How
Icon
about
Megastore. Icon Megastore was your latest. So, I'm
yes?
coaching your son, which I'm very, very happy about. And so, that sets an example of you come out of the business and now you have your children who are running the business, but you also believe in the power. So that is really excellent. I think, guys, we're having issues with the internet. I really am hoping that it will settle or that you're hearing us. So you have multiple businesses, and of course, there were many challenges along the way, as we always hear. We always see the successes, but we never ever know about what were the many challenges or businesses that didn't fail. that didn't work. But one of the things you said, Moses, is that you saw the opportunity. And so, a lot of people are kind of not ready for the opportunities when they come, but you prepared yourself. And when the opportunities came, you seized them and you are willing to try. As Brad Sugar says, there's no failure except the failure to participate. So you actually went out and tried new things. What was your most challenging period as an entrepreneur, Moses?
Um, well, I'll give you two period of challenges for first.
Mm-hmm.
One is recent, but I'll give you the older one first.
Mm-hmm.
And we took on a partner and we went into the solar business. And at that time, I never had a coach, and I was just operating from experience. We did not do due diligence as we should have. We did not set up the business and structure it properly. And this was in about 2012. And we lost a lot of money. So it was very challenging recovering from that, having to repay those loans that we borrowed at the time. And so that was a very challenging period for us, 2012, 2013, when we started repaying the loan. So that was very tough for us. We had to pay for that mistake. And then recently, during COVID, it was another period of a myriad of challenges because, again, for the distribution business, our main market was the hospitality trade, which was hotels and restaurants. And they came to a standstill overnight.
Yep.
And Marcia, can I tell you that when it was closed, I won't name a figure, but it was many millions that was out there for us in receivables. Then, I mean, many more millions in inventory sitting in the warehouse. You wonder, what am I going to do now? Because as a businessman, you have a lot of overhead and you have staff. And so it was very challenging trying to balance all of that. But we learn from the experience and the failures that we've had before. And so we were able to pivot and put our energy and resources into products that were in demand at that time. And that helped us to keep going. But not only that, we were able to keep all the employees employed. We didn't have to lay off anybody. And so that was very challenging at first, but found a solution. We pivoted in that and found a solution. So those were major periods of challenges for us.
Wow. And I'm sure in all of that, Moses, it was your leadership, your thinking, your resilience, determination that took you through that period. Yeah. Now, Moses,
it was a combination. It was a combination of leadership from myself and a family, but also we really have some good employees. We have a great team. And when things happened, we got together and we understood what was happening, and everyone made a commitment that whatever it was, we're going to ride it through. And we did it together. So also the team was excellent.
That sounds like a total resilience. Now, Moses, in addition to all of these businesses, you have so many other accomplishments. How I met you and heard about you was because you were in the NCB Capital Quest, which is like, for folks, if you don't know, this was like Shark Tank in the days. This was like 2015 or 2016, right, Moses? And I believe you were the winner of that Capital Quest series. Correct? It was 2016. What made you enter that? Why did you enter? Why did you enter?
That's interesting. It was one of the business banker who actually told me about it. Marian Edwards is her name. And she said, Moses, I think you should enter this thing. And I said, what is this thing? And she started to tell me. And in all honesty, I didn't grasp the full extent of what this thing was. But she explained to me, and I just said, it will be a great exposure for your company and you'll get the experience. I said, great, no problem. So when I entered, I understand if I entered with the expectation that I would have won, But I entered because I recognized based on what Marion told me that there's a lot of value here for you. You get experience,
Yes.
you get
Mm-hmm.
exposure, you meet entrepreneurs. And indeed, it
Mm-hmm.
was that. You were one of the mentors last year, and I learned a
Yeah,
lot from
yeah,
you during that time.
yeah.
And it was very interesting, very challenging for me because I don't think at first I was fully prepared for it. But again, I took it in stride and I kind of, as I went along, I learned and I realized what it was all about. And then I sat down with my team and we put the work in. And like you said, we emerged the winners. And I'm very grateful for that.
Absolutely, because you got so much exposure from it, Moses. But it also required you to be
Yes.
proactive. I mean, you're running your business, but you also had to be doing shooting and different things in order to, for the show to go on. So well done. And then you had another award. This was, I mean, you're just having so many awards. The other one was a Governor General Award for Excellence it was 2018. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, all right. Let me just back up a little bit to the NCB's Capital Quest. So during that
Mm-hmm.
time, it probably was the first time I actually left the business and had other people run the business without me for such a long
Mm-hmm.
period of time. And
Yeah.
it was because I'm going to tell you in a little bit more about some of my challenges that led me to becoming a business coach. Before I get there, though, I just
Mm-hmm.
want to say that it was my first time from the business, and it really was a big moment for me to realize that the business could run without me. But in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the Governor General's Award, again, it was a somewhat of a surprise to me because I
Mm-hmm.
did not expect it. So I'm this kind of person that I love my community and I love Jamaica. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
always looking for ways to add value to my community and to contribute, not just financially, but of myself. And
Mm-hmm.
those were the things actually that I was a lot of my team members. So anything
Mm-hmm.
I get as an award of any sort, it's not just me, it's because there are people around me that would have supported me and helped me to do this. And so I guess based on my involvement in the community, giving back, helping here, helping there, serving here, serving there, that was how I got selected and was awarded with the General's
Mm-hmm.
Award. And I felt very actually to have received that. And, it's something I treasure dearly and very grateful for it too.
Mm-hmm. And Moses, that's something that I really appreciate about you. It's not that you're playing your part as a business owner in contributing to your community by employing people in the area, but you also have served in so many other ways, which we're going to late shortly. But you then became a business coach. You approached me two years ago about being a business coach, and I said to myself, he's already doing so many things. Why does he want to become a coach? Moses, what is it that with everything else that you were doing drove you to become a business coach with Action Coach?
I guess that must be the question of the day because that one,
Mhm.
a lot of times when I meet business owners, they ask me, why business coaching? Because yes, it's no secret we have quite a number of
Mhm.
businesses and so forth.
Mhm.
But it's a passion for us, yeah. And I share an experience with you. When we started our business, I told you earlier, we never had much money. And so
Mhm.
my wife and my brother, my wife was the one in the office. My brother and I, we would be driving the trucks, making deliveries, picking up
Mhm.
goods all over Jamaica. All those big trucks out there, I can drive them. I used to drive them. I used to load the truck with boxes and stuff. Oh yes, the truck too big for me to drive because I used to do it all over
Mhm.
Kingston, Orchards, everywhere.
Wow.
But I was working 7 days a week. 7 days a week, either on the road or somewhere doing something. No rest, long hours. I got really, really tired, fatigued, burnt out, and it was affecting my health. But more than that, well, equally, I remember my son saying to me one day, Daddy, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
Wow.
You know, it stopped me in my tracks because here am I when I get home in the nights, the little young man is sleeping. When I leave in the mornings, I'm leaving home before he's awake. This little man wants to see his daddy and can't see him. And I realized right there and then that there has to be a better way to run the business without being a slave to the business. And I started to do my research and I started to hear the word systems. I looked at companies, large corporations like the banks and those big distribution companies out there. And I started to look overseas too. And I kept hearing systems. And I started to study systems. And I started to learn systems and to implement systems in my organization. But Master, it took me a very long time. I had no structure. I had no mentor. I had no coach. I never even knew anything about business coaching back then. And so it took me forever. And when I met you and I heard you talked about the 6 steps and talked about coaching and system and business, when I hear Brad Sugars talk about business running without you, I started to feel like this man must know something about me. The word he was speaking resonated with me. So now that I've learned systems, so that we have systems in place and we're improving them every day, and I look around me, Marcia, there are so many business owners that I know that I watch them grow old, not necessarily in years, but based on being burnt out. And 2 things. One, being a slave to the business like I was. And secondly, no succession in place and working so hard to build a great business and getting old, can't run it anymore, the business just die a natural death. And I said to myself, I think this coaching is a vehicle that I can use to help persons to prevent them from going through the hardship that I went through, the loss of family time. I can't get back the family time that I lost, and the burnt out. I can't get those back, but I can help somebody out there to avoid that trap that I fell into. And so that's what led me to business coaching. And
wow. And so Moses,
started,
that came from yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Marcia.
Now I'm saying that desire
led me to recognize when I realized the importance of business coaching, and that's when I got my son enrolled in business coaching because I realized that every business owner needs a coach.
Excellent. And so you are doing this because you recognize the impact that it had on the time with your family, on your health, and that it helped you to be a better leader as well. And so with that, you recognize the need for all the other people in your business.
Absolutely.
For Jamaica, and I know one of the things we've talked about is really focusing on how can we help the southern, western and southern part of Jamaica. So we're looking at Westmoreland, we're looking at St. Elizabeth, looking at Manchester, because that has so many businesses and they're really needing your help and our help as well. All right. So you mentioned some of the mistakes that you made along the way and the importance of having a coach. But you're not just a business coach, you're also a health coach. Tell us a little bit more about that as well. How did you get, Moses, all this coaching? How did you get into being a health coach?
That's another interesting one. So I remember I told how burnt out I was, how my health was going downhill. So funny thing is, my income was climbing, my bank account was looking great, but my health was going south. And I had a terribly weak immune system. I had no energy. I was burnt out, like I told you. So I went to see this doctor. Dr. Anthony Benji is in Montego Bay. And after checking everything, he said, "Young man, you're not sick." Because I thought something was wrong with my heart or with some part of me. "Young man, you're not sick. You're just not eating right. You're just living a healthy lifestyle." And I asked him what he meant. And it's explained to me that no matter how busy you are, you gotta eat at least 3 healthy meals per day. You also should
Mm-hmm.
exercise, and you should you're stressed. You need to avoid stress. You need to get enough sleep. And I started to make small changes, and my health started to improve. And again, I guess it's just the way I am. If I find something good, I want to share it. I want to give it to other people. So having
Mm-hmm.
gotten those great results for myself, my energy came back. I mean, people ask me, no, Chybar, how is it you have so much energy? You're morning, noon, and night. You're here, there, you're everywhere. But it's because I have a healthy lifestyle. I exercise almost every
Mm-hmm.
day. I eat healthy meals. I drink enough water. I get more rest now than I used to. And I really manage my stress level well. So
Mm-hmm.
I've benefited from that, and I've been helping persons to do the same. So that's pretty much similar to business coaching.
Oh dear.
I had struggles, I found solutions, and I'm sure.
Sharing it with others. And so, Moses, you're the health coach. And, it's so interesting because the two of them go together. I always say to business owners, there's only one, you can change out the car, you can change out so many things, but you can't change out your body. And so, I have coached persons, who went to burnout 80 odd and eventually died. I got them too late into coaching, and I have seen those mistakes. And so you recognize that we have to take care of our health because we are aging, and this body has to take us as business owners all the way through. So we have to focus on the health, but we also have to focus on the business and the leadership. And so you're areas as a business coach and as a health coach. But Moses, I want to now highlight something because this is something of we have our group, our tribe, which is building businesses, successful businesses, so that we can live in a more abundant and prosperous Jamaica. And I've watched you and your commitment to the community of Westmoreland because you are the president of the Manchester Chamber of Commerce. You're also chairman of the Mannings High
West,
School in
Westmoreland.
Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce, sorry, and and also chairman of Mannings High. And what that says is that you are very interested in helping the community in so many areas. And then sitting on the board of Mannings is also you saying you are also interested in developing the young people in your community. And so you're speaking out right now about the fact that Westmoreland is under threat. And so, what is from the crime and the robberies that have been occurring? So, what is your advice to business owners like yourself who are trying to deal with these challenges in the face of the upcoming Christmas season? This is a time that their businesses need to thrive. As someone who the government speaks to a lot, especially when they need help in the communities and so on, what is your advice to business owners?
As I rightly said, there's a lot happening now in Jamaica, not just Westmoreland, but
Mhm.
Westmoreland
Mhm.
really is facing a lot right now. And I know that businesses have been panicking. I've been receiving the calls, persons saying
Mhm.
that they're afraid, they're closing the doors early,
Mhm.
and also realize the panic is hitting persons. There's a lot of rumors going around, robbery here, robbery there, and a lot of it is not quite true, and some is true. So I say to business
Mhm.
owners that don't panic, be careful, be vigilant, take all the precautions you possibly can, ensure you have security in place, and don't take
Mhm.
anything for granted. Look at your staff also, your team members, and where any of them might live in areas that might be a little bit more difficult or might be a hotspot. Look at the schedule so persons can get, those kind of persons can get to leave a little earlier. so they can be safe. Also would like to say to a person, don't try to be a hero, because from all the reports we have been hearing, the robbers are traveling heavily armed. So don't try to be a hero. It's better if you if the government come and they hold you up, better to give them the money, and you live to see another day. You can always get money, but you can't get another life. It's hard because you worked so hard to earn, and you have bills to pay, but it's better that way. Don't panic, despite what persons will shop in Christmas. They might be less than before, or they might be not shopping late in the nights like they used to, but they will shop. That's Jamaican. Traditionally, we're Jamaicans, we are going to shop. And the truth is that the security force, they are working very hard. Cooperate with them. Let us assist them in any way we can, because in assisting them, we're assisting ourselves. So this will pass. This period of challenge will pass. It's not forever. And if we're strong enough, if we're resilient, we're going to be here after this. Also, where you think you need some assistance, and that's where business coaching is important. We help persons to work through challenges. I wouldn't tell you that we don't have challenges. We have challenges too. Every business want to have challenges, but we find out through them, because inside challenges lies opportunities, and that's what we have to find. And sometimes you need an outside person looking into your business to help you to find those opportunities. So that's what I would say to my business colleagues now.
Absolutely. No matter what it is, businesses have been through so many challenges. So have you over the years. You have overcome every one of them. But with coaching, people have a pathway, a system, and a way in which that they can be successful. So Moses, I just want to say to you, thank you so much for the commitment that you have made to serving. You're also a JP recently. You just continue to serve and to serve and to serve. And I'm going to ask you what drives you, what is your passion? But Moses, I think I know that as well. It's service. It is serving. And I know you're a man of faith too. So I know it's about you doing what you can for your neighbors and to live on purpose and with purpose. I just want to thank you for your commitment and for joining us as a coach with the global community as we continue to deliver on our vision, which is world abundance through business re-education and claiming our path, which is Jamaica abundance. So I just want to end with the question that we ask everybody on a Transformation Tuesday. What has been your brightest achievement to date, Moses?
Well, it's not easy for me to single out one thing, because so let me give you two things that I really believe for me that has really stands out for me. Number one, my community involvement. I've been able to bring about change, positive change within my community. The experience I've had, the mistakes I've made, the things I've learned through coaching and other relationships, I would say have allowed me to become more resourceful. And in so doing, I'm now able to share some of that with impart some of it to other persons. And so I can't tell that number, but a large number of persons around me would have benefited one way or the other from having some kind of conversation or something with me. And I think for me, that's a great achievement, because being able to impact other people's lives. So it might not be something so tangible, but it is one that really stands out for me. The second thing I would say, Marcia, is our newest location here at Paradise Road in Westmoreland was a corridor that people would just drive past. And since we moved here in 2016, we have been successful in opening this corridor and open this corridor now, and it has become a busy area. And we have been able to, based on what we have done, attract other businesses. And now this area paradise is now becoming the Fairview. You know, Fairview in Montego Bay. So this is the
Yes, yes,
Fairview of West.
absolutely.
And for me, that's a bright achievement because I tell you this, I don't I don't care to be remembered for operating a lot of businesses. I want to be remembered for making a difference. And that's pretty
Awesome.
much the legacy I want to leave behind. And that's what I will continue. So those are the two things I would say as bright achievements for me.
And Moses, I would agree with you because as I look at you, which is why I wanted to do this feature today, and I'm just so sorry that the internet has not held as well, is that I wanted to recognize you for that because you said your brightest achievement was just being able to help somebody on the way. And your life has demonstrated that and the service to your community, both from community level, schools that you sit on, from your health coaching, your business coaching, contributing to the community as a business owner, and just you personally, who you are. So I want to applaud you for that, Moses. My one of my mentors, Darren
Thank
Hardy, says that he wants to live a life of impact and significance. And I can say for you, Moses Chybar, that you are doing that. Impact and significance. And I
thank you.
just want to thank you. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that we have you on our team to help us to achieve our vision in Jamaica. All right. So, folks, thank you. And so, Moses, thank you. Thank you. And then, so, folks, I'm so sorry. I know the internet was very spotty today. Don't know what happened. I hope you were able to catch most of what we had said today. And maybe we'll do another one, Moses, when it is a lot better. But as Moses says, don't make the mistakes. Join a program with not trying to do this on your own. It will save your time, energy, and money. And don't make the mistakes. So learn from those who have made the mistakes so you can build successful businesses for yourself. All right. So thank you very much for joining us today. I didn't see any questions. So if there are no questions, then we're going to end the stream. So
Coach,
thank you
coach,
very much. Yes, Moses? Mm-hmm.
coach, say one thing quickly? Can I say one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
Despite having so much experience and exposure, I must say that the things I've learned in Action Coach has helped me to raise the bar tremendously. My leadership has improved, my business knowledge has improved, and I've improved in just about every single way. Being around you, Marcia, and being around other coaches, Brad Sugars, and all those people has sort of raised me a few stories higher than I was before. And I just want to say thank you and thank you to Action Coach for having me and for all the many ways I've benefited from being in this community. It's an awesome community, not just for the coaching, but for the camaraderie and the shoulders we have to lean on each other. Means the world to me. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. You are welcome. So thank you, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a Merry Christmas. And we will restart in 2024 with our Transformation Tuesday series. So this was today, serial entrepreneur and coach, Moses Chybar. See you all. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.